This Red Ryder boy's knife, and the bone handle does not really match as well as I wish it did. So I'm going to try and dye it with Kool-Aid. I'm going to use black cherry Kool-Aid. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll find out. Going truly seat of the pants with hot water and Kool-Aid. Going to stir it up a bit. And then I'm going to put the knife in there and let it sit for a while and see what happens. Like I said, I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know how long to leave it in there. Nothing. I'm just taking a shot at it. There it is. Never did it before. May never do it again. We'll see if it does anything at all. Looks like it's already starting to happen. Something is happening. Might work, might not work. Tell you what, I'm going to leave it in there for half an hour and see what it looks like. Okay, so here we are, a half an hour later, and what can I say other than wow, what a difference. If you look along the edges there, I just try and keep it in focus, but it's really absorbed into there, the Kool-Aid and everything. Doesn't smell too black cherry or anything, and I rinsed it a couple times through cold water to see what was coming off of it, and you can see here as I wipe it with a paper towel, nothing is coming off on the paper towel. It is still a little damp, but I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, looks a whole lot better than it did before. You can still see where some of the dye was, the like tobacco bone dye was, and where it wasn't on the back, but much smoother, much more consistent throughout the handle. Now it's really a keeper. I really like it. It looks a whole lot better than it did before. And like I said, this is black cherry. I thought it was going to be a little more red, but came out a really nice shade of brown. I like it. It's like a reddish brown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clear coat and seal the bone to make sure that none of the color runs out or anything. But like I said, I've already run it through water and nothing came out, but who knows if hand sweat and everything else would take some of the color off. I really don't want to end up having a black cherry palm if I'm using this knife, but yeah, I'm really pretty happy with this so far. I'll take some more views of it after I let this sit 24 hours and give it a nice clear coat with a nice acrylic. Well, when last we looked at this knife, it was nice and evenly colored brown, but as soon as I started to give it a coating of a clear acrylic to hold it in place, I noticed that the clear acrylic was turning red, which meant that the dye was not holding at all. So I went and took some hot soapy water, and needless to say, all of that red Kool-Aid came right off. So those people out there who are dyeing their knives with red Kool-Aid, it's not going to work. They may think it's going to work, and they're going to say it's going to work, but it's not going to work. As soon as anything really substantive gets onto that handle, that red Kool-Aid is just going to start coming off. Eventually, it's just going to come off from sweat in the hand. So what I'm going to try now is I'm going to try sanding this a little bit, making it a little less pink. Yeah, so it did stay a little bit of the color, but I'm going to sand it down a little bit on both sides, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and soak this overnight in hot tea and see if that evens out the scale or not. Okay, I've lightly sanded both sides, getting off as best I can any of the red goop and everything, and also smoothing it out a little bit around the handle, so that'll help a little bit in the long run. Now I'm just going to wash it in hot soapy water, and then I'm going to try and re-dye it, this time using black tea and just boiling water, and let it sit overnight. Okay, I'm back again. The knife has been soaking in tea for about 16 hours or so, And the bone is looking a whole lot smoother. I think it looks better than it did after trying to get the red dye to stick, which obviously was a complete and utter failure. So anyone who's using Kool-Aid, good luck once it gets wet and somebody actually tries to clean it. This is getting a lot better. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is take some loose tea and pack it against the bone, directly against the bone wet, and just kind of keep it moist for a while and see if I can leach even more out of the tea leaves into this. So instead of making some hot tea and then soaking this in it, I'm going to actually put wet tea leaves directly against the bone and just hope that it will leach into the bone material. And for that, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try and put it where it's lighter and try and avoid where it's darker, and see if I can even it out a bit, and so that both sides will be kind of about the same. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Well, all I got is some Earl Grey, so we'll see how Earl Grey does when it comes to dyeing bone. So let's turn this down a bit. See, what I'm going to try and do is just smash it into there on the one side, close it up, wrap it up. It's already nice and wet, and then let it sit like that for a while and see if it leaches even more color in or not. We'll find out in about 6 to 8 hours. So finish it off tomorrow. Oh, and I wrapped it all up in a plastic bag so the moisture won't leave the tea leaves and everything dry out. So hopefully we'll see if this makes it any darker or not with the wet tea leaves right up against the bone. Okay, so I took another shot at it with the tea. This time the tea leaves, I forgot all about it until the tea leaves got all slimy and everything. It's kind of disgusting. So it sat there for almost 2 days just on this side, and you can see that it is still kind of blotchy and it's not very even or anything. And so what I did was I took and tried to sand a little bit on this side to get it also a little more blotchy and stuff. And what I'm going to do now is try and smooth this out, buff out the lines and everything, and see if I can make it look a little bit better. But at least now, while it kind of looks uneven and everything and kind of aged, at least now both sides are closer to matching than what they were when it all began. And if I can keep it looking that way, both sides being very close to matching, I'm not going to worry about it looking kind of aged and such, because it's not looking too bad. It's looking better to me than when it all started off. So the tea seemed to work. The Kool-Aid, total waste of time. So that's where I'm at this point. And then I'll try and get a clear coat over it and see if the clear coat reacts with the tea.